want to continue from where we stopped last time. Where did we stop in our last class? In shape. Shape was the last thing we talked about. So which one? What's the next one after shape? We have talked about smart art. Okay, we talked about clipped art, not smart art. Are you sure we have not talked about? We have talked about smart art. Click on smart art, then you remember we have talked about smart art. Click on it. Have we talked about it? Do you remember seeing? Do you remember seeing these images in the last class? Okay, that's not an issue. I let me bring you. Let me just say up to speed. Like what I said about. I said smart art is a combination of shapes. Smart art is a combination of one or two shapes. Now, there are some designs that you want to achieve some things. Now, when you want to achieve them, instead of you picking your shape one after the other and picking, you just come to smart art. When you come to your smart art, you are going to see series of design. When you click on the list, you are going to see another series of design under. You are seeing the change. If you click on process, you're going to see if there are some designs. I don't know. There are some designs also. Then you see if you click on process, there are some designs in process that you might need. Maybe for example, you want to use you are on a presentation that is pointing to a direction, so you can play with your process, circle, hierarchy, relationship. For example, say hierarchy. When you are in hierarchy, when you are talking about the rank, maybe you want to show an organization hierarchy or charts. So you can use your hierarchy. Instead, to achieve this, you can use your shape of shapes. So in relationship, when you are trying to relate one or two things together, but all these things are actually used in your presentations. It makes your work easier and faster. So most of these things you can do them by picking your shape one after the other. Even at the point of even picking your shape one after the other, you can even copy and paste your shapes. But when you know that okay, this is where I'm going to, this is what I needed to achieve, you can just use your smart art to achieve that. It's just when they say smart art is nǹkan tó fẹ́ gbọ́n jù yẹn lọ ju èèyàn lọ. I think that's how you can say smart something is. But it's something that someone has sat down and say, okay, this combination and this combination of this rectangle will give us this shape. Taba, if we break this rectangle, will give us this shape. So something like that. So for example, if you want to insert picture in a shape, can you see picture? There is picture in your own section. I mean, in those all these process cycle. Okay, there's no picture there. Okay, it is not a pyramid. That's the last one. So it's not a big deal since we already have the idea about how it works. So I believe you know how it works. Can open a new slide there. Then I want you to see how it works, not just having it. So click on. Let's see what you can do. Have you selected a new slide? Just a new slide. Then go to your smart art. Then let's work with pyramid. Look, click on the basic pyramid, the first one. Click on OK. Yeah, you can see how it works. You can see in the top, you can add your text. So it has made things easier for you just to work with it. So that's just what's the next chart. What's a chart? I'm to ask you, what's a chart? Yeah, a chart is a graphical representation of data. Abi, so can you tell me some of the charts you are familiar with? Okay, okay, okay. Now in that place you can see in that place they said all charts. You can see there are line charts, there is pie charts. Can you see them there? You can see there's line charts, pie charts, bar charts, area charts, stock charts, surface, radial. It's different type of charts depending on where you are using. For example, if you are in the stock market, you have a presentation on stock. You can just use your stock to that. So these are various. For example, let me give an instance. Like I don't know, have you seen cryptocurrency before? I'm sorry, are you familiar with? Okay, now in cryptocurrency, they use most of their charts here is stock charts in cryptocurrency. So these are charts that we can be familiar with. For example, when you are doing for example, if you have a presentation on what is the name of maybe you want to get the analysis, maybe the rate as regards your profession, and maybe we want to calculate probably the rate at which women, the rate at which child is being delivered as against the year. Yeah, something like that. So we can come to our chart and actually comparison. Yes, so we can come to our chart to achieve that. So what's the next one? Hyperlink. What's an hyperlink? Or have you heard the word hyperlink before? Okay, very logical example of what hyperlink can be said. When we have www.google.com, that is like an address. So those are hyperlink. Now, when you are bringing www.google.com to your presentation, it is tagged as hyperlink. You know, naturally, www.google.com is a link or a web link. You can say it's a web link. But when you are bringing it into this your environment where you are working, it is tagged as hyperlink. Because naturally, we type as text. So if naturally, everything we are typing is a text. But for the system or for your representation to recognize it like, okay, this is a link. This should be a clickable link. It is being termed as hyperlink. So that's how it is. And most time it is used mostly when you are referencing your presentation. So when you write your reference, you have to give them some links for them to go and search more on it. Then use your hyperlink most times. Sometimes you can want to bring it to your presentation, maybe to read more on a page or a slide you are presenting. You just use an hyperlink. So immediately they click on it, it takes them to the web page, provided there's an internet in it. So it also needs an internet for it to be accessible. So that's how hyperlinks work. Do you have any question? Okay, let's move on. Now, the reason why it is not responding, you said it's not responding now. Why is not responding? No, now in this your own office, it might not respond. You know why? Because you have not typed the document. Now click type something like www.google.com. Yes, type it there. Now highlight what you typed. What do you notice? The color change because you have clicked on it. So as it change, you can see a line under it, which shows that it is an hyperlink text. So anytime that presentation is on and somebody click on that link, it automatically takes them to that place and they can search for it. So that's how hyperlinks work. And because you have clicked on it initially, and when you clicked on it on this Microsoft account, the hyperlink is just constant. You can only use it you cannot import hyperlink. But on consecutive Microsoft accounts, you are importing, you can even maybe probably you have an hyperlink somewhere stored in your laptop, you can bring it to the system. So that's how hyperlink work, man. So what's the next one? Man? Action. Now, when they said action, what does it mean? Fire. Okay. Now, when they said action means telling a particular selection, giving it and triggering it or giving it a trigger to carry out. That's the meaning of action. For example, now is okay. Let me just say it like this. It can even be seen in this presentation slide. It can even be seen as something like an animation. You know what an animation is? Probably you want your test to be dancing, or you want when that test you want to add a sound to a test that you have. Like probably when they are on that presentation slide, you want them to hear a sound. So sometimes when you are in a presentation ground and someone is on a page and you hear ta or you hear a sound, it's because the person has given that page or has given that test an action. It's probably you want to, most times is like allowing you to relate with the message they want to pass at that point in time of your presentation. That's what an action does. So sometimes an action could be you are telling that test that immediately they click on a test, it should take you to maybe the last page. It can happen. Like if you look at it, when you click on the action, you see action settings, you see action on click, you can see none, you can see hyperlink to, you can see when you see hyperlink, you see next slide. So when you click on next slide, can you see next slide? When you click on next slide, first click the box of hyperlink to. it will activate the next slide. Click on the box of next slide. You can see it can tell you go to the next slide. Immediately when they click on that, it goes to the next slide. Or even you can even ask it to take you to the last slide, just like a presentation. You can even use, all these things are part of the extensive properties of PowerPoint. Most times people don't use it because I believe if you are actually presenting very well, you are going to be getting familiar with it. Now when you click on it, you can, in fact, sometimes in a presentation slide, someone can just use your smart art to draw an arrow at the bottom, and immediately the person click on that arrow, it takes them to the next slide instead of using your normal keyboard to be pressing next, next, next. So immediately the person click on it, the person has already clicked, assign that arrow to take you to the next slide. So that's why I said you have to be familiar with, like when you are using it, to get familiar with it. When you are using it from time to time, the more time you spend on it, the more familiar you get on it. So what's the next insert? Text box. The question is, how do you type inside those shapes you draw? You click inside. There are some shapes that you are going to insert, or let me just say there are some objects, or let me say there are some shape, or there are some objects, or there are some images you are going to bring to your object, but you needed to type on that object, but you cannot type on it because it doesn't permit you, because those shapes or those objects are static. They are constant, you cannot type on it, but you needed to write something on it because you need it in your presentation slide. That's why you have a text box. So when you click on the text box, automatically it draws you a rectangle. Then you can now start typing on it. Okay, now you understand the text box, right? Now, header and footer. What is an header and what is a footer? What is a header and what is a footer? Oh, yeah, that's a very good. That's actually a layman understanding of a header and footer. The header is the top of your document, then the footer is the bottom of your document. Now, let me call your attention to something. Have you ever noticed that when you print, there's always some space at the top and there's always some space at the bottom? Your printing doesn't start from the top. It's because of the power of the header and footer. So when you are typing, there's always a space allocated for your header and footer. Now, also you can also resize this header and footer. You can also determine header and footer, but we are not going to dwell more on this more, because it is not really applicable in presentation. It's always applicable when we are working on documents. So your header is the top of your document, your footer is the bottom of your document, and sometimes you might want to add slide numbering. You want to add numbering to your document. That's the essence where you see slide number. Sometimes you might want to add date and time to your document. In professional settings, they use date and time where you say, okay, this document was prepared on this day, or it was used on this day. Instead of using normal text to type it, it's going to be there constantly. Or you might want to even add a notes at the end of your document. You can also say, okay, this presentation is owned by, it's going to appear very tiny at the bottom of your document. So these are the power of your header and footer. What's the next one? Okay, let me explain the header and footer. The header and footer is taking advantage of the space at the top and the space at the bottom. You are taking advantage of it. So it's not like it is for adding, you are taking advantage of that space. There are some documents that at the end of it, you see the date and time as that presentation was made. It's because, and the date is always small at the bottom. It's not like somebody typed it. It's because of your abuse that, okay, let the space at the top and let the space at the bottom be maximized. So that's header and footer. Do you have any question? Any other question? No? Word arts. Now, word arts involve playing with your lettering. So it's just like a design that you give. For example, when you want to write you want your text to have a specific, maybe background text or a kind of shadow like property, or you want it to have maybe like any shape you want, you can use your word art. So instead of, something you should know about this is what you want to achieve in this word art can also be achieved using your text color. Yes. So but this one also involve, it's like is a style attached to your color. Different styles that is attached to your colors. So that's what your word art involve. So for example, if you type a document and you feel that document to have a feel of something, you can use your word art to achieve that. So what's the next one, man? Date and time. It's normal date and time. It's normal date and time. And you can see when you click on it, it takes you to where? Confirm. So your slide number, is that the next one? When you click on it, what did it take you to also? So it's normal the same. So what's the next one? That's the next one. No, your symbol is not responding. Why do you think it is not responding? Type in alphabet or type in number on a use it on that text where you have your yes, type a number. Anything, just type something. Is it responding now? So when you click on it, what happens? Symbols, different symbols comes out for your use. So some of them you are familiar with, some of them, some you are not familiar with it. So it will not respond at the beginning of your it will not respond when you are when you have not started to type anything. But when your cursor is not blinking, it's not when you have not started typing anything. When your cursor is not blinking on your document, it will not respond. So that's it. What's the next one? Object. Now, objects in this place. Now, let me say something about this. You can still say object is like a pictorial representation of something. So now, and some of the things that you can find in the object is some of the things that you are familiar with. For example, if you click on Microsoft Excel chart, can you see Microsoft Excel chart? Microsoft Excel chart. Charts. Have you seen? Okay, click on Microsoft. Okay, click on it and click OK. Then I want you to tell me what you noticed. Now you can see that this chart. Are you familiar with it? If you need something like this, which tool can you use to achieve this? You can use your chart to achieve this. There are some other things in your object that you can use your smart art also to achieve. So most of the things in your object are not something like is not something that you cannot relate with. But objects pick them one by one, pick them from this place, pick them from this place, and gives out the representation in its own dimension. So that's about objects. So what's the next one? Is there a question? Movie. Where's the movie? Téèyàn máa wo film. Téèyàn bá fẹ́ gbé film wá sórí document, use your movie to bring it. What's the next one? Sound. What's sound? Téèyàn bá fẹ́ gbé audio, any audio tape. And what's the format for an audio? What's the file format for an audio? Yes. In our last 3 classes, MP3 is a file format for audio. What's the file format for movies? MP4, MPG, MPEG. Okay. So that's just it. That's about movies and audio. So when you want to bring in some things like that, you use from documents to the slide. Yes, from your computer to the slide. Yes, it's just the same way you can bring in. You can see your pictures. Pictures when you want to bring in your pictures from your documents on your computer to the slide. So is there any question on the SACS tab? Design being the next tab. Design gives your presentation slides a beautification. It's the appearance. Design determines the appearance of your presentation. So that's the tab. That's what it does. It determines the appearance, the look, the outlook of how your presentation will look like. So that's design. So let's quickly run through design and see how far we can go. Because design, and another thing you need to understand about design is you are the best designer of your presentation slide. Someone else can see what you design and say, oh, you have designed trash. Someone else can even see the same presentation and say, wow, you have really done a good job. In fact, sometimes that presentation slide might not only máa tẹ̀yìn lọ́rùn gan pé eléyìí mi ò wà kíní yìí mi ò wà satisfied, but someone else will see that presentation slide and be like, wow, you have done a great job, and be like, kan tí ò fine lójú mi báwo ló ṣe fine lójú yín. So that's why you are the master of your presentation and you determine how you want it to be. Now also, when you are working with design, you need to understand, I think I said it some days ago, I said the color you pick, the type of design you pick will determine the type of presentation you are presenting. You cannot be doing a presentation as regards a happy moment and should be showing us a black design or red design. Or a lady, you cannot be in, maybe you are presenting for ladies and you should be showing us you are presenting for ladies and you are showing us a blue design. Ladies are probably orange, pink, and all those light colors. So that's about design. So let's quickly run through the tools that we have in designs. We have what? Page. Now, you might want your slides to be in form of you don't want your slides to have you want your slide to have a landscape view. You might want your slide to even have a portrait view. But naturally, when you are working with your slide presentation, naturally it is always landscape. It is not portraits. It is landscape. So you might decide that you don't want your presentation or your page or your design page. No, a design is a page in this aspect. There are sometimes when you are putting out your design, you can decide to say, okay, ẹ bá wa ṣe ní 4-in-1, ó jẹ́ 1, 2, 3, 4. Each page to contain a page. But in this case, we are talking of a page of a. If you are talking of a page here, we are referring to a slide. So that's it. So you can also set that. Also, you can also set which other thing you can set. You can set the width of your page. You can set the width. You can set the height. Sometimes you might want the width. You might feel that the width that is specific or is specified for you to design is smaller for what you want to achieve. So you can make it bigger, especially if you want to present on a big screen. Probably you are projecting to a big screen. It means you want to. You might mean, okay, let my slide to be very small so that when it's projecting, it can be the normal size. Sometimes when you want to, when you're projecting to a small screen, you can make your design, the page of your slide to be bigger. So that's all about page setup. What's the next one? Well, let me say this: in consecutive PowerPoint years, all this page setup is not added there. So in case you did not see it, if you are working with another system and you did not see it, it's not because it is a fake. No matter what fake in it's original. So it's not there. So what's the next one? Slide. What's an orientation? Okay, that's so slide orientation is simply the environment, and it's just divided into two: your landscape and your portrait. And I said it earlier. I said your design is always in the default design. Portrait is what? Orientation. Yes, it's landscape. I've said it earlier. The default slide orientation, like when you open your presentation, your PowerPoint, the default is what? Is landscape. Even when you want to print your slide presentation, they are going to tell you that it's going to come out in landscape, except you want it to be in portraits. What's the next toolbar? The next toolbar is not your design, it's your theme. Yes, your theme is your background. Sometimes, earlier I said when you want to go online, you can download PowerPoint presentation templates, PowerPoint presentation background. You can still download PowerPoint presentation themes. So these themes, sometimes they are not so sufficient for people that want to design. So if you click on the arrow at the end of that theme, there's an arrow that goes down. Yes, the down one, yes. Click on it. You are going to see something. What do you see after the different slide, after different themes? Very good. Another one. Another one. Now, let me give you the difference between the three of it. More things from Microsoft Office. When you are using a licensed Microsoft Office, you have access to more things that Microsoft has not given, or let me say you have access to more premium things. So that's why sometimes you see some design, some of them are using the licensed Microsoft Office. So that's why they have access to more things. They say browse for more things. For example, when you click on browse for more things, it takes you to your documents. Sometimes when you download things, it's already saved in your download on your phone, on your laptop. So you can just browse for it and use, select it and use. Now, save current theme. Sometimes when you have used this a theme, when you save automatically, when you save that document, that theme automatically is saved to a location available, that was made available during the installation of your Microsoft Office. It is saved to that location. That anytime you can, you is actually, is not a location that is visible here. The location is on your desktop. When you install an application, you know this is an application, it creates a folder automatically on your laptop, on your system. Now, when it creates a location automatically on your system, you don't have access to it. In fact, that's why sometimes when you want to delete some things on your system, they say you don't have the permission to delete this thing except you are an administrator. I don't know, maybe you have witnessed something like that. It's because those things are not, you are not the one that bring them to your system. It joins your system as a result of probably while you are installing an application, or somehow it joins your system. So this is where these themes, when you save, like when you save a document, automatically this thing that you have downloaded goes to that location. So you can save it probably, and maybe you use the presentation maybe today. I need that theme again. You need the theme in the next 10 years. Provided you have, okay, theme color, yes. Is adding you have saved some things here, you are going to see it there, or probably Microsoft have saved. So it's not, there's nothing there because you have not saved any themes here. So that's just it. So what's the next one? Oh, now, this all these things that I just listed now are properties of the theme you are using. Now, you can see colors. For example, you want to use a design. Okay, select a new slide. That slide is the properties or the configuration of the theme you want to use. You can see the way you are selecting, you can see the various things. You can see how you can achieve different things, despite it might look unique from other applications.